So here we are, the day after the snow and the ice have done a number on all of us. The day after is when you see the damage, right? So I came out here last night, used my Husqvarna, added a little gasoline, and I knew it was going to be ice today because of the wind coming off North Mountain up there. So I cleaned off. Last night I got as much as I could. So naturally, in any disaster, you have all kinds of secondaries. One of the primary ones for everybody will be the huge amount of ice and snow that will be at the end of their driveway, even though they cleaned off their driveway. So this morning, I was out here for an hour shoveling all the ice off the end of my driveway. So now my son's truck is there, and my wife's SUV and my little Honda Fit are inside the garage. So now we have easy access in and out. The remarkable thing about this storm is the way that it affected so many uh, places in the United States in different ways. Obviously, Oxford, Mississippi needs a lot of help. They're going to need just food and water to begin with. If you get an inch of ice or 2 inches of ice on trees and power lines, uh, that's all she wrote. I mean, it's going to be pretty bad stuff. And Reed Timber was down there. He's an incredible storm chaser. If you don't follow him, he's sort of following Reed Timber because he often knows in advance where the worst places are. And he drove from Minnesota down to Oxford, Mississippi in that storm to show you the damage. So it's worth going online and checking it out. So for those of you that are suffering ice damage today, my prayers are with you. My prayer before the storm was that the ice not hit West Virginia, which, as far as I know, it didn't. I mean, it seems to have stopped at Kentucky and Tennessee. When I saw all those big rigs pulled over in the South because the highways were ice skating rinks, I feel really sorry for those truckers. I mean, if you see a trucker today, thank him or her. As during the COVID pandemic, the truckers are the ones that saved us, especially you who live in cities. You have a 3-day supply line. If they can't get that food to you within 3 days, you starve. And so if you see a trucker, you better thank him because he's invaluable to your survival. I mean, so far, Tesla and Musk haven't built the driverless, full service driving car or trucks other than the Pepsi that were like 12 at the Pepsi plant, but they're not out there yet. And so millions of men and some women are out there delivering your food and your goods to you today. And so you shouldn't take them for granted. Like I said, just like during the pandemic, I did lots of videos of how the stores have been cleaned out. And what's amazing to me is same thing happened before this storm. People panic, they run, they buy all the whites, eggs, toilet paper, milk, bread, and yeah, that's all well and good. But you should have had that stuff before the storm. Otherwise, boy, I just slipped. It's pretty icy. uh, so anyway, wherever you are, my thoughts and prayers go out to you. I trust that your streets have been cleaned, your driveway is clean, and you're able to get out today. For those of you in places like Oxford, Mississippi, you're going to spend months recovering from this. When you have an inch or 2 inches of ice, that's really bad. And no matter how many utility workers get there, or FEMA shows up, or National Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers, and so forth, it's still bad news. So I wish you all well. I hope you all have insurance, house insurance, homeowners insurance, because you're going to need it to make the claims. Now, this is not a busy road ever, but it's a ghost town today because people are smart enough to stay off it. Oftentimes, when the wind comes off North Mountain, this thing turns into a ice skating rink. But today, there's the ice, the black ice, which is particularly dangerous, and that's especially for all the senior citizens like me out there, that ice is underneath this snow. And so you want to be very careful when you walk on it or transit it, because it only takes one slip and you have a broken pelvis or uh, broken spine or broken elbows, or God forbid, you split your head open. So if you see this kind of black ice, stay off it. It's very, very dangerous. Probably one of the most dangerous things out there. And I'm sure the emergency rooms today are busy with people who have fallen on ice. The other question I have is the standard one, which is people that haven't exercised regularly. Like, I go to the gym every day to make sure I'm fit enough to be able to deal with this kind of stuff. But for those of you who don't, and you get out there and start to shovel off your driveway, that exertion is really hard on your heart. And so you could have a heart attack, or worse, a stroke that'll impact you for years. Uh, just want to take an aside here. You see that bird over there? See if I can zoom in on that. I guess not. Anyway, oh well, here comes a truck. I need to get the hell out of the way. If you look at that bird, it's in its natural element. It's really having fun. This is a runoff stream onto the horse farm next to me. Uh, I did a video earlier where I showed you the runoff pond. This runoff pond here is 4 feet, and then the one above it is 2 feet. And then all the rain that comes off that mountain ends up here. Now, obviously, in a snowstorm, uh, it's quiet, but eventually all this is going to melt. And when it does, I'm not sure I can even get over here. It's so deep. These two pipes, the part that's up there, you can't see it, but that's probably 5 miles up to that mountain. It'll all run off, and then it'll end up in these pipes. Then it'll run down past this huge bird onto that farm and be absorbed into the land. And that's an example of pre-planning for disasters. The great thing that West Virginia does is they take care of this stuff way before. Like, the utility trucks are out all week. Well, actually, they've been out there for a month or two in anticipation of the winter. And they've been cutting down the trees that might end up on the power lines. Fortunately, around me, an awful lot of the power lines are underground, and so we're good. But for those that do not have their power lines underground, today's not a great day. I'm sure a lot of you are without power. Last report I saw said 1 million Americans are without power, but personally, I think it's a lot higher than that. As you can see, your trash won't be picked up. It's not worth even putting it out there. My hands are a little cold. I have to hold this in my bare hands in order to not have it slip into the snow as it did yesterday. So anyway, this is just I guess, the sit rep post-action report, just to say today's going to be a rough day for a lot of Americans, but be smart, uh, don't overexert yourself to where you end up in physical pain. Take it easy, take it slow. The thing about snow is it's not a earthquake, it's not a hurricane, it's not a flood. It's the kind of thing that you can spend time actually preparing for it. Like, we got at least a week to prepare for this, and then you have at least a couple weeks to do the cleanup. So you don't have to get everything done today. As you can see, this farm right here, they have their parking lot cleaned out because they have stalls for horses, and the way horse people are, probably show up today to take their horses for a ride in the snow. This used to be a dairy, so you can see the size of this barn. It's where the cows used to be. And the great thing for me is I get to bring my grandchildren over here. They have goats, cows, horses that they can observe up close. It's kind of fun. So, as you can see, in West Virginia, as with the 2/3 of the nation, everybody's under snow and ice right now. So do those things you need to do, like something you should have taken care of this week is your pipes. Make sure, well, your pipes should be insulated so they don't first in this kind of cold. But I'm sure lots of people have burst pipes and water in their basement right now because they didn't take care of it. So if that's the case, just take care of it, get it repaired, and better luck next time. The other thing too, with a storm this size, is the insurance companies are going to be overwhelmed, and so you're going to have to be patient with them because they're going to have millions of claims they wouldn't have normally. When our house burned down in 2004, where we were fortunate was that we were only one house that burned down. As the guy said to me, most house fires are kitchen fires, and so he didn't. He was able to devote himself to us. Is what I'm saying. And the poor people in communist California, unfortunately, Bass and Newsom and all the other corrupt communists out there are holding up the permits and the Palisades. And here's the problem: even though they have one-stop shop for permits, nobody's getting their permits. The feds went in and did everything they were supposed to do, but unfortunately, you have tens of thousands of homeowners who lost their houses and can't even rebuild. I think they've issued 18 permits, which is my way of illustrating when you have a major catastrophe like the Palisades fire and this snowstorm and ice storm, it's scale. It's huge scale, and so you have to be patient with those who are out there who come to your rescue basically afterwards with money or supplies or a hug. So treat those people right, and they'll treat you right. Just be kind. Remember your manners. You're under a lot of stress, of course, because it's your family and you are responsible for taking care of them. But it's just to say that everybody gets through this. Americans are incredibly resilient. I saw a terrific show this morning about German prisoners in Oregon that couldn't believe the food they were being fed and the kindness of the guards, and also that they weren't going to be hurt, but they were put to work in the orchards. And some of them came back and bought orchards, and we've benefited from that. So it's just to say that the kindness and the resilience of the American people is unreal. So keep that in mind. Be safe today. Be kind. And especially if you have any old people in your area, help them out. Okay. So this is Bruce Curley. I'm the volunteer vice president of the American Civil Defense Association. If you go to tacda.org, tacda.org, we have 65 years of information about civil defense that'll help you out. And what's interesting to me is over the past 2 or 3 years, we've been contacted by federal agencies to either join our group or to help them out. So they recognize the value of it. We preserved it when they forgot about it. There's also a survival store there. I highly recommend the water bricks because the number one thing you need in any disaster is fresh water for multiple uses. So get yourself a pallet of water bricks. I think they're only $187. And if you have a small business or if you want to preserve your family data, we also have electromagnetic proof thumb drives. And 5% of the thumb drive is our about how to survive disasters. The other 95% in history to back up your data. Keep in mind that when disasters strike now, businesses don't go out of business because of the earthquake, the flood, the hurricane, the fire, but rather data loss because everything depends on data, which is what the Communist Chinese Party has figured out, which is why they're hitting us so hard in our servers. So I recommend you go to tacda.org, tacda.org. And if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the tactics of feds. I stay in touch with lots of people, so you don't have to. And I try to distill it down and put it in plain English so it's of value to you and your family. So God bless you all.